Today on this special edition of Plowing Around, I'm going to New York. But that doesn't mean I'm in the Big Apple. Though that's probably what you think when I say I go to New York with my grandparents every summer. New York is not just a city, it's actually a huge state with a vast amount of agriculture in it. My grandparents have a house right in Lake Ontario that has a community of local farmers and agricultural businesses. I want to bring you closer to some of the people who make fresh farm products and yummy food and beverage. Today we're going to be looking at two cash crops with many differences, but are both driven by farmers' passion for agriculture. So come with me as we go to New York, as we go plowing around. In this summer special edition, we will head to New York State's northern regions near the coast of Lake Ontario, where we head to a winery just down the road from Point Peninsula on 3 Mile Bay, New York. I'm here with Dave Fralick, one of the wine owners of the Cape Winery in Cape Vincent, New York. And I don't know much about wine because I'm underage and all. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Okay, well, the wines that we make here are made out of basically the French hybrid grapes that we can grow up here in the North Country, because it gets 20, 30 below zero here regularly every year, and some years it'll get as much as 45 below. These are some of the few grapes that'll grow here. We make several red wines, white wines, and a couple of rosé wines. Most of our wines tend to be towards the dry side, but we have a few sweet wines too. When you start drinking, you'll like the sweet wines.
Probably. How can you tell a good wine from a bad wine?
It's really not so much a good wine from I mean, you can tell bad wines just because of the way they taste or smell, or look. But I have some wines that some people say are bad. There's absolutely nothing wrong with them. It's just they don't serve their palate.
Yeah. And
that's the big thing. So to say good and bad, there's drinkable wine and undrinkable wine. Some of the good wines people are going to say are bad just because they don't like them.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to say this is a good wine or a bad wine. It may be a great wine to me, to you or your mother. It's totally, I wouldn't touch it. But that's the wine world. 600 and some different grapes they make wine out of, and probably 100 different styles that you can make those wines in. So. Every one of those is unique because it satisfies somebody's palate.
So how many acres do you have of vineyard?
We have around just under 3,000 vines. It gives us a little over 5 acres of vineyard. In full production, will produce around 15 ton of grapes.
It's a lot.
When you're hand picking them, it's a lot.
You use like a machine to pick the wine?
No, we pick them all by hand, because as we go through I want to be able for people to look at the grapes and say this bunch isn't good, it's not ripe, and leave it behind. When you get a machine in there, it takes it all, and by the time you get to look at it, it's all mushed together, and it's really very difficult. So we pick them by hand, we bring them in little baskets about 25, 30 pounds at a time, dump them in our crusher, and it removes all the stems and stuff and just gives us the grapes and the skins, and we start our fermentation with that.
In order to make these different wines, do you have to use different grapes, or is it different techniques you use to make the wines?
Both.
Both.
The white wines, and I had somebody come in here sometime and say, well, all wines are made out of red grapes. They just, how they do them. Obviously, they'd been on a wine trail somewhere that the guy was having a good time with them, because you make white wines are normally made out of white grapes. Red wines are made out of red grapes. We have a lot of straw-colored wines you'll see up there that are made out of what they call a gris grape, which is a grayer grape. It's not red, it's not white, it's kind of gray.
Yeah.
And those are your basic wines that you can, colors that you can work with. Now red can be from a deep purple all the way to light pink, depending on how long you'll have skin contact. And so there's very minimal skin contact, so they don't pick up any colors at all. And that's, then you got your choice of what kind of yeast you use. Some of them will bring out more flavors than other. You get choice of, are you gonna add additional sugar to the end of the process so that it'll make the wine sweeter? Do you want to put it in oak for a while to add some flavor to it? So you got all those options. And if you say, okay, we're going to oak it, then you got a whole book of oaks that you can pick. You can get barrels, you can get all kinds of, we use staves because we're a small winery, but what the staves are just look like pieces of barrel you drop into the tank. Well, I can get upwards of 30 different oak from the stave companies, because they microwave them, they heat them up in the oven to dry them in our kiln, or they air dry them, and each one of those processes brings out a different set of flavors out of the wood. And then you have oak from America, from France, from Hungary. Each one of those is something different.
Wow.
Yeah, it's almost endless to look at the combinations of things that you can do to a poor little grape. We'll give you a wine, good, bad, I don't know, drinkable, not drinkable, different.
Just gotta try it.
Everyone will be different.
Buy wines online, you know. Do you have a website?
We have a website, and we do ship. Mostly we ship to New York State. The stupid little orange thing holds our hoses that go into the bottom of the press. So as we're pressing things off, it actually pulls the juice right in. We have other grapes and vineyards around the county here. Each tank will hold about 1.5 to 2 tons of juice when it's done. But once we get them in, the biggest thing is we take the grapes, we measure out how much sugar there is and so forth in them. We add a little bit of sorbates in there to kind of stop any of the wild yeast, kind of kill off anything that's in there. And then next day we'll add our own yeast to it, some yeast food and so forth, get it to start to ferment. We control the temperature. The reds will ferment out there. The reds will ferment at about 68 degrees. The whites will ferment at about 62 or 60 to 62, depending on what we're trying to extract for flavors. They will do that for 7 to 10 days. When they stop fermenting, they're done. We just press them off, get the skins and stuff out of there, and move them into a clean tank and let them sit and drop the solids and stuff. And we'll do that 2 or 3 times. We may move them in here and add the oak and let them sit for 2 or 3 months and then move them back out and stabilize them. Just depends on what we're looking for in terms of a wine.
When it comes to, you know, wine business, you know, like what inspires you to do what you do?
I think part of it is just a love for the nature, and I love to be outside. I have a great time making products that people enjoy, and meeting with people and selling it to the people is the biggest fun of all.
Okay. What is a piece of advice that you would give to someone that's going into the wine business?
Plan ahead. Plan a long way ahead, because it's not a business that's going to turn you a profit overnight. You're looking at 5, 10, 15 years down the road. It's not, so you have to be able to maintain yourself for that period of time and maintain your business and grow your business. And think about the things long and hard before you do it, because you plant a vine today, it's going to be there for 100 years. The fences are gone, the houses may be gone. The vineyard's still going to be there, so plan ahead.
That's cool. Thank you for letting me interview. It's really cool. Winery guy here is really big, by the way.
Thanks a lot for coming by and visiting.
Now let's literally drive just across the road from the winery to visit a maple syrup farm in Cape Vincent, New York. I'm here with Tim Knapp, the owner of Knapp Sap Shack Maple Syrup in Cape Vincent, New York. What kind of maple syrup stuff do you make?
We make the best maple syrup around.
It is. I really do enjoy it. So how long have you been doing maple syrup?
We've been making maple syrup for 4 years, full time. But full time with maple syrup is only once a year, so we got all year to get good at it. But in the springtime, we make it.
So how many trees does it take to make a gallon?
Oh, that's a good question. It takes upwards of 60 gallons of sap to make 1 gallon of maple. And one tree might give you a cup a day or so of sap.
Okay.
So it adds up. A little bit equals a lot. So I can't answer that. I don't know. Somebody smarter than me would know that.
So I guess I'm trying. Okay. What inspires you to make maple syrup?
I'm a glutton for punishment. It's a lot of work, but we like doing a lot of work. In the season, there's nothing else going on, so we figured it'd be fun to try. So that's what we did.
What got you started with it?
I own maple trees, and we used to cut a lot of maple trees, but when they're cut down, they don't make syrup.
Not much anything.
So we took to tapping them and making syrup from their sap.
Do you have a lot of trees, Tim?
Not enough. We tap about 1,000 trees right now. The goal would be probably 5,000 or so in the near future.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Well, some of these operations, they have 50,000 or so, or 20,000. That's their full-time deal, but they're big-time corporations, a lot of them, and they might not have the small charm to it.
Does it hurt the trees?
No, does not hurt the trees. It heals over. We use a tiny micrometer of a tap. It's 5/16 tap, which is smaller than your pinky nail. The old ones used to be about the size of your pinky. And that hole would take two years to seal up. Our new ones take a season to heal up.
That's good.
Yeah, we don't want to injure the trees. We should be looking at a tree instead of a tractor, but we move our taps each year, so they don't wound it over and over and over in the same spot.
Yeah. So what would you say as advice to someone who is getting into the maple syrup business?
As I think with any business in agriculture, and I'm probably bucking the trend here because it seems to be everybody wants to go borrow money. I say start small, make good product, sell at a premium, and build from there. Don't go borrowing money and all this, because as soon as the market drops, you got payments and your product isn't any more valuable. So I say start small, sell high. Best you can without ripping people off. Make good stuff and sell it reasonable and do your best, and you can't go wrong. If people see you're working at it and it doesn't come easy, they're happy to give you a fair amount for what you do.
That's good. Thank you for letting me interview you.
Yes, sir. Anytime. You'll have to come back when we're boiling. That's more fun.
The great thing about traveling to these places is not only the vast knowledge learned, but the people who share their passion for a common goal. I mean, isn't that what America's about? That's it for this edition of Plowing Around. I hope you feel inspired to check out agriculture in your neck of the woods. Where the heck am I? Don't forget to hit that like button below and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Support your local farmers today, y'all.